To prove this is not a fanboy video, as you can see, there's an Xbox there, a Wii there, a PS3 there, two PS3s there, and another Xbox there. There you go. So today we'll be discussing why the PS3 is not better than the Xbox 360. This is not a fanboy video, I'm purely making it because I feel the PS3 fanboys are getting out of control. This video is of course a remake of the video I did earlier. So I'm going to start with the first fanboy claim, that is the PS3 is a supercomputer. It is not a supercomputer. People have run tests on the PS3 and its Geekbench result was comparable to that of a 1.6 GHz PowerMac G5. I'm going to throw this in here. The PS3 Slim cannot run Linux, which really sucks, because that cuts all possibilities of backing up your Blu-ray movies and games, and potentially even getting a PS2 emulator to run on it via Linux. So moving on to the next misconception is that Xbox 360 users cannot upgrade their hard drive. This is not true at all. All you need to do is unscrew the hard drive case and pop out the 2.5-inch drive, then replace it with whatever drive you can get. Sony's service, in my opinion, is poor, at least in Australia. When I thought my Xbox 360 had died, I called up Xbox, or Microsoft, and they offered to replace the system with a brand new unit and drop it off to me. The Xbox, I might mention, did not die. It just got the red ring of death, and all I did was put it in a towel, so the good old towel trick, and it worked for another year strong. When my PS3 died after 10 plays, I called Sony customer care. Not only were they not helpful, they said it would be $140 to fix it, and I would have to send it via Australia Post, which is probably the slowest shipping you can get, and they handle packages rough, so my PS3 would have most likely been damaged. They also mentioned that they would give me a refurbished PS3 with a new shell on it, so they'd get a refurbished one they've already prefixed and put a new shell on it and send it to me as the repaired unit. Although mine was brand new, so I would have most likely gotten a 2-year-old PS3 in exchange for my 1-month-old PlayStation 3. The online service on the PS3, although free, is laggy and a pretty poor experience. I remember when I was trying to play GTA 4 online with just 20 players on the entire online lobby for GTA 4, and it lagged like hell. You could shoot rockets at cars and it would magically go under the road and explode without killing anything. You also get kicked from the servers due to high demand, which is fair enough. The online is free, so you'd expect that. But it does get very, very frustrating. The PS3 updates are also very annoying, as most updates are large in file size, generally 100 megabytes plus. I was playing Killzone the other day, and it prompted me to perform an update, which was 600 megabytes in size. To make the file sizes worse, the downloads off the actual server or the PlayStation network are quite slow. Something I have also been noticing about PS3 fanboys is that they have something called a 6-month theory, where they imagine certain games such as The Ballad of Gay Tony will come to the PS3. Now Microsoft paid $50 million to keep it exclusive, and even if the contract expires, it will never go to the PS3. I actually saw a fanboy video on YouTube, and the video was from mid-2008. And he said Crysis will be on the PS3 in December 2008. And that apparently the Xbox 360 could not handle it. Did Crysis port to the PS3 in December 2008? Obviously not. The next fanboy attack is that the Xbox doesn't come with Wi-Fi built in. Well, it comes with Ethernet, which is an always-on stable connection. I never use Wi-Fi on my PS3 as it's not stable, and nor would I use it on the 360. However, the Xbox 360 is the only gaming console right now to have an official Microsoft branded wireless LAN adapter. So in essence, it turned out to be a good thing that it uses an external Wi-Fi card. Draft N has recently been finalized, and the Xbox 360 has the first wireless N adapter. Wireless N is a more stable connection and its speed is fantastic. The PS3's B&G wireless is not great. If Sony comes out with a wireless end adapter for their PS3, I would highly recommend getting that for anybody that uses their built-in wireless for the PlayStation 3. Anyway, for that matter, any B&G Wi-Fi cards are not that great. There are not that many exclusives for the PlayStation 3, and the fanboys have been riding Uncharted and Killzone. At the end of the day, those are the only good PS3 exclusives. To name a few Xbox exclusives that destroy the PS3s are Grand Theft Auto Ballad of Gay Tony, Grand Theft Auto Lost in the Dam, Left 4 Dead, Dead Rising, Gears of War 2, Halo 1, 2, and 3. I will link to the exclusives of 2008 to save time in the video. The next thing that is bad about the PS3 is that the new models have no PS2 backwards compatibility. The PS2 beat the original Xbox hands down. It was a great console, and it had exclusives that the Xbox could not get. It was like the 360 of today. You may be asking, why would you get a next-gen console and want to play last-gen games? Well, because some last-gen games beat the games of today, such as Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, which is only for PS2. The next point is that the PS3 has little or no upscaling. So if you have a TV that can handle upscaling very well, then you're fine, but if your TV doesn't handle it very well, then you're screwed because it will look terrible. The only TV that it really shines on is a Bravia, which costs $3,500. Now moving on to the hardware side of things, many PS3 fanboys seem to think that the PS3 has better graphics. That is not true. The 360 Xenos GPU is actually more powerful than the PS3's. The following that I'm about to say is what actual developers have said about the Xbox 360. So these are not my words. The first developer said, quote, "The PS3 does not have 8 cores. It has one fully functioning core, then there are 7 SPE cores, 2 of which are not used for processing in games. The SPEs are more like co-processors. They aren't autonomous and they don't have the same instruction set as the main core, nor do they even have a cache. The main core is also an in-order unit with multi-threading. It's more comparable to the Intel Atom, which is a netbook processor, than the more sophisticated Phenom and Core 2 processors. The second developer stated, quote, "There are 3 critical performance aspects of a console. The central processing unit, CPU. The Xbox 360 CPU architecture has 3 times the general purpose processing power of the cell, the PS3's. The graphics processing unit, GPU. The Xbox 360 GPU design is more flexible and it has more processing power than the PS3 GPU. Memory system bandwidth. The memory system bandwidth in the Xbox 360 exceeds the PS3's by 5 times. Yes, by 5 times. The bottom line, when you break down the numbers, the Xbox 360 definitely has more performance than the PS3. Another developer has stated, quote, "In graphics, the Xbox 360 is a clear winner. The GPU is more powerful, it has a more powerful fill rate, and far more pixel and vertex processing horsepower. Part of the reason is their choice of memory and architecture of pixel and vertex processing. I can't get into details, but the same vertex shader will run much slower on the PS3 than the Xbox 360. The 360 also has a clever new way of rendering high-definition anti-alias back buffers. To accomplish the same effect on PS3 is prohibitively expensive. So in other words, it's really expensive to run it the same way on the PS3. For this reason, I think many games will have no choice but to run in non-HD resolutions. On the PS3 version, they will generally use a lower quality anti-aliasing technique or do back buffer upscaling. The end result in all cases is going to be noticeably worse image quality. ATI directly stated, quote, "Our GPU, Xenos, will have the advantage over rival NVIDIA's RSX chip. The key," claims ATI, "is that the RSX doesn't have the unified shader architecture that the Xenos does." A game developer for both the PS3 and the Xbox 360 said, quote, "I read various game forums from time to time and often see gamers complaining about lazy ports to the PS3. They often mention how the PS3 is the most powerful game console and blame the developers working on the console for doing a bad job. Sony has all these people duped by impressive marketing spin. Ports to the PS3 will never be as good as their 360 counterparts, and most PS3 exclusives will likely continue to suck," he says. So that right there were words out of the developers' mouths, not mine. I purposely did that so that no one could turn around and say I made it up or I'm a fanboy. Hopefully this video has made you realize that the PS3 is in actual fact not more powerful than the Xbox 360. If you like the video, subscribe. Okay, so this is going to be part 2. The reason it's part 2, if you're confused, is because this is actually the next day. So, moving on to the next set of arguments. The first is that the Blu-ray drive is very much so prone to failure. My PS3 died after 10 plays and I was just presented with the spinning orb whenever I put in a disc. That to me is just unacceptable. For PS3 users out there, I urge you to be careful with your Blu-ray discs and make sure they're pristine before putting them into the Blu-ray drive. Another fanboy attack on the Xbox 360 is that the Xbox 360's controller is not rechargeable. While the PS3's 800 mAh controller battery is not removable, whereas the 360's is. If you're actually a gamer, you would know that you want removable batteries to swap out on the fly rather than having to find a powered USB 2.0 port to charge it. Also, the 360's controller is a lot more comfortable than the PS3's. Microsoft did a great job on ergonomically designing the controller. Just to throw this in here, you can also mod your Xbox 360 games much like you can on PC, which is very nice. It definitely makes games more fun, and all the GTA 4 mods out there do work on the 360. Another point is the Xbox 360, you get the option to install games fully on your hard drive. Another point is that on your Xbox 360 you get the option to install the full game to your hard drive. So if you put in a game and you want to install the full game on your hard drive, it lets you do so, which of course puts less strain on the system and thus makes it live longer. That feature, unfortunately, has been recently removed from the PS3, where it automatically installs some game files. Notice how I said some? That's because only some game files can be written, not the full game. Another fanboy attack to the Xbox is of course its infamous Red Ring of Death. Well, have you ever heard of the YLOD? Stands for Yellow Light of Death. And you get it when your PS3 overheats. And basically, it fries itself, so you fanboys are not exempt from the same hardware failures as the Xbox 360. Also, getting back onto the processor in the PS3, the cell. First and foremost, the cell is best at running advanced numerical calculations and tasks, and it is not so great at gaming. For example, a Core 2 quad would blitz it in gaming. Also, for all you fanboys out there, the Xbox 360 does actually have a cell processor in it. However, it is 3 fully functioning cores, whereas the PS3 is, of course, as the developer quoted earlier, 1 fully functioning core and 7 SPUs. This is a quote from another developer talking about how the PS3 was rushed to production. Quote, "You may wonder why Sony didn't adopt a more standard CPU/GPU architecture, especially considering they have a standard NVIDIA GPU called the RSX included in the PS3. According to the Race for a New Game Machine, the PS3 was initially not going to have the NVIDIA chip. Instead, all of the graphics processing were to be handled by the cell, and the graphics output would have been handled by a simple frame buffer chip. Unfortunately, Sony's engineers didn't finish the graphic output chip in time, so they added an off-the-shelf NVIDIA design at the 11th hour. That concludes this video. My final thoughts are, had PlayStation not have rushed the PS3 to market, it could have easily surpassed the Xbox 360. Hopefully that has informed you fanboys on why your PS3 is not actually better than the Xbox 360.
Soldier Boy, tell them. And this video right here is exclusively for all the Xbox Live gamers out there, man. Fuck PlayStation 3. Back to Xbox. Don't nobody play no goddamn PlayStation. Why that shit sitting in there all alone. Back to the real shit. Xbox.
You want some of this, huh? Fuck, bitch!
What's up? It's your boy 50 Cent. It's going down. Xbox Live. Your boy 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, DJ Hookit. Y'all gonna get a chance to play with us live online.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jack Black. Meet me on Xbox Live, and you can take me on head-to-head in Project Gotham Racing 3. See you there, if you got the guts.
I'm just now sitting down. I've no warm-up. You guys have been probably warming up for an hour. If everyone could stop for a second.
Instantly win a trip to Detroit thanks to Xbox 360.